Hey y'all, welcome back to the Ditch the Classroom podcast. Today's episode, I've got my favorite guest ever, my sweet, sweet husband, and we're just going to be breaking down how you can get your spouse on board with your dream to quit teaching, what you want to do, and just having a whole conversation around tips for sharing your dreams with your spouse. So I'm really excited. You're going to love today's episode. Don't forget to get registered for our free workshop, The Number One Way to Quit Teaching, which is taking place next Thursday, January 19th. Going to be breaking down the 5 P's of becoming a virtual assistant. Cannot wait to share that with y'all. Go check it out at arianavernier.com/free-workshop or click the link in the show notes. All right, y'all, let's jump into today's episode.
Do you wish you could quit teaching and start working from home so you could spend more time with your babies? Are you tired of scouring the internet for legit jobs that will replace your teaching income and that you can do from home in your PJs? Hey mama, welcome to Ditch the Classroom. I know you're over there Googling jobs for teachers, legit work at home jobs, or start a side hustle, yet you can't figure out how to take that first step toward quitting teaching. So instead, you stay stuck, do nothing, or start random side hustles to make quick money. Virtual assistance is the answered prayer you've been waiting for. My name's Ariana, and I'm a former teacher turned work-at-home mom who replaced my teaching income as a virtual assistant in just 6 months. I did this by taking a step of faith and following the dream that God placed on my heart to be home with my babies. Sister, your dreams pale in comparison to God's dreams for you. Imagine offering services that light you up and having a job that works around your life and not the other way around. This is the podcast for you. It's time to take that first step out of teaching. Are you ready? Here we go.
Hey y'all, like I mentioned, I've got my wonderful husband here on the podcast today. Before we get started, I'll just tell you guys a little bit of our background. We met in college, our freshman year. We lived in the same dorm, started dating about halfway through that first year of college, and then we've been together 10 years, married for 5, and have a 3-year-old daughter and 1-year-old almost son, and our life is crazy, and that's how we like it. That about sum it up?
That does.
Okay. So I've got Reid here on the podcast just to kind of share with you guys, helping you figure out how to get your spouses on board with your digital classroom journey, because sometimes that's one of the hardest things to do. Like, you might have that dream on your heart, but expressing it in a way that your spouse can understand can sometimes be pretty challenging. So that's kind of what we're going to break down. So, babe, the first question I have for you, what were your first thoughts when I told you I wanted to invest money into learning how to become a virtual assistant?
When you first brought up this idea, I was definitely skeptical because it was something different, something that wasn't along the normal lines of a career path. And it was going completely into the unknown, so I needed to learn more about it before I was comfortable making that type of investment.
Yeah. I think when your spouse doesn't know, like, what this even is, you can't expect them to just give 100% support.
Right.
Because they want to make sure you're safe. They want to make sure the family's provided for. And so sometimes I think we can jump to conclusions like, oh, they're not supporting me because they won't let me do this, but maybe they just don't have a full understanding of what you're even trying to do. So sometimes you just kind of have to break it down and show them.
Yep, absolutely. This is something that's not well known to many people, and it's becoming more well known, more widely spread, and it just takes a while for some individuals to understand that this is a big industry that can be profitable and is you make it your own as you go along.
Yeah. So what were some of your biggest hesitations or fears with me starting this business?
A lot of that had to do with us jumping into the unknown of moving from that traditional career path, 9-to-5 job, and having a set employer to starting your own business and making all the calls yourself and having to create that plan from start to finish of how we're going to continue to pay the bills and how this would change our lives entirely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. like I said, the big thing is making sure our family's provided for. And
right.
when you leave that 9 to 5, like, yeah, you don't have the consistent income necessarily. Like, you can't say this is exactly how much I'm getting each month, but you also have the safety of usually having multiple clients where if you did lose one, you wouldn't lose all of the income. And I think that was hard to see at first when you're first like trying to get clients. It takes a little bit, like a month or so to get them. So there's that fear there of like, what if I don't get them? So yeah, I totally understand that. But I think a lot of people's hesitations are, yeah, the fear of the unknown, and that a 9 to 5 seems more secure. But I kind of just wanted to point out to the listeners and their spouses, like, it's not necessarily more secure, because if you lose that job, you lose all of your income. Where if you just lose like one client, you've still usually got other clients that you're getting income from till you replace the one you lost.
Yes, the idea of job security is actually backwards from what we're taught originally, of having a secure single employer that you've been with for many years. Doesn't matter how many years you've been with them, they could still tomorrow decide that you're not necessary. And that's, you'd be looking for another job at that point. Whereas when you have those multiple clients, you can gain some, lose some, and you still will have that regular source of income from the clients that you do have.
Yep. So what do you think helped you the most to remove those fears you had at first?
When you did land your first client, and I saw that this is something that is real, viable, something that can provide a regular source of income, and also something that can be grown more than a teaching income, whereas you have the set number that, it's given to you by some arbitrary group, or a decision is made on what teachers should make, whereas this type of building a client base can provide way more than that in the long run.
Yeah, and I think something that helped too was that we communicated a lot. Like, all of my goals, we kind of established my goals together and set timelines for them. And yeah, some of them didn't get hit and we didn't like freak out about it, but it helped you to know what I was working towards for our family, I think. And it helped me to have him not like pushing me, like hounding down my back, but like knowing that he believed that I could hit that goal helped me hit it. I think sometimes, at least myself, and I think a lot of women do this, we think that our husbands can read our mind and just know what we're trying to do and what we're trying to work towards, but sometimes they just don't see it the same. And so if we have to just kind of show them and I think break it down into what this can do for our family, what this would change, and try to keep it positive. Don't just be like, you don't believe in me, I'm trying to do this for a family. Like, that's not going to help. But just kind of show them like, yes, I know this is scary. I am scared too. This is what I'm trying to get and allow our family to do.
I personally am more of a visual and numbers type of person, and I want to see it written down, what the possibilities are, what the possible risks are involved, and really the overall goal of what we're trying to achieve by executing this plan, and how it will potentially impact our lives for the better, what it will allow us to do. So outside of just the numbers, how much freedom is it going to give you and your family to try new things and do stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to do when you have to work around 2 job schedules?
Yeah, that was a big thing. It gave us a lot more flexibility. And I think we did it a little bit backwards, where I had already pretty much quit teaching when I started this. But remember too, if you're still teaching, you can start this as a side hustle and just have that conversation with your husband. Like, where can you help me with our family tasks and stuff so that I can have, 5 hours a week to start building this as a side hustle so that I can replace my teaching income and we don't have to just like completely let go of my teaching income from the get-go. I can build this till we get to a comfortable point where I can leave. So remember that too. And then, show your husband, if these are my prices that I want to charge, this is how many clients I would need to replace that income. And that'll help them see more of the visual of it too, like Reid was saying.
Yeah, I really like that exercise of building it backwards, putting down the number that you would like to make or that you need to make to support part of the family expenses, and then building it back from, each individual task and what clients you have to get, how many, and what prices you need to charge in order to reach that goal.
Yeah. And if you need 10 million clients, then you need to charge more because you're not charging enough. So how do you think my virtual assistant business has benefited our family?
There's lots of ways, but some of the biggest ones include the time that we have now. Like I said previously, we don't have to plan around 2 schedules to do vacations or just the weekly planning of, taking kids to daycare and such. The timing is a little bit easier for that. And then since you replaced your teaching income and you continue to do that, that's given us more freedom to make better decisions about our individual career paths as well as together what we want to accomplish as a family.
And investing. And
It's also inspired me to, try to get more clients and work on my own side of things as well.
Yeah. Yep. Because we're starting his business now too. So that's fun. So what would be kind of your suggestion, or what would you say to spouses who are nervous about their wife ditching the classroom?
Well, overall, the teaching industry isn't the best industry to be in for starters. We all know the struggles that teachers face. And teachers have a lot of skills that can be better utilized outside of the classroom and better appreciated outside of the classroom. So that can be something that can really add to your wife's overall career aspirations, and just feeling about herself in general really can help improve the overall path that she wants to take with her career. So I'd say that is really something that can benefit her. And if this is something that's been put on her mind to start this journey, that's something, there's a reason for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as spouses, it's our job to support each other. And yes, that doesn't mean you have to 100% agree all the time. You can still question things, but like you said, if she's got that dream on her heart, God placed it there for a reason. Mm-hmm. How can we figure this out to make it work for our family and still be able to achieve all of our goals we want to hit?
Right. And going back to the communication side of things, if there's something that you're wanting to see or wanting to know about the opportunity, then just, ask about that. Ask what types of prices they are going to charge for their services, what types of clients they're going to get, and how many they think they'll be able to balance with the daily life, everything that's asking of our time on a daily basis. And ask as many questions as you can to better understand what this new venture would look like for your family.
Yeah. And also don't forget, you guys, we've got our free workshop coming up next week, January 19th, where I'm going to be breaking down what it takes to become a virtual assistant and the 5 Ps you need to be a successful virtual assistant. So show that to your husbands. If they don't want to watch the whole workshop, it's not that long, but if they don't want to watch the whole thing, shoot me an email and I'll send you guys the slides so you can look through it and talk through it together. That might be helpful too, to kind of show them what's possible in the workshop as well. So, babe, what would you say is kind of your number one tip for how women can get their spouses on board with ditching the classroom?
My number one tip for getting your spouse on board with quitting teaching is to write down what you hope your life will be like in the future, and write down as much detail as you can about what this change will allow you and your family to accomplish, and what possibilities are out there that you wouldn't normally get as a part of teaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I think to take that one step further, set those goals together. Like I said, if you're building this as a side hustle, figure out how much time you're going to be able to dedicate this and how your spouse is going to be able to help you do that. And then what those goals are that you're trying to hit, and set those dates. And like I said, if you don't hit those goals by that exact date, that's okay. But just having that game plan, I think really can help your spouse get on board, instead of just like being like, okay, I'm just going to let you fly by the seat of your pants and I have no idea what's going on.
Right.
So awesome. Well, I think this was a good conversation, and I think it'll help the listeners a lot. If you guys have any questions, you can always message me. And if it's a question for Reid, I'll get his feedback and then let you know. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on today, babe.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. All right, y'all, make sure you get registered for our free workshop. Like I said, that's next Thursday, January 19th. And you can get registered for that at arianavernier.com/free-workshop or find the link in the show notes. All right, y'all, I love you so much, and we will see you next time.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I'd love to bless you with a free gift as a thank you. All you have to do is leave a review of the show on Apple Podcasts, take a screenshot, and send it to podcast@ditchtheclassroom.com. I'll send you a code so you can snag my Ditch the Classroom toolkit for free. And don't forget to come hang out with us in our free community, facebook.com/groups/Ditch the Classroom. I'm so honored to support you in your journey to becoming a virtual assistant. Until next week, y'all, keep following the dreams that were placed on your heart so you too can ditch the classroom.